Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another expensive, clever, intelligent rider. He's in asset management and we've got a lot to learn from him. So today, nice to have you here, Pratay.
Thank you very much for having me on.
So tell us your story. You come from an Iranian background.
Yeah.
And your father, you said, just recapping, you said your father was a builder for a period of time. And then obviously you come around, you're born and bred here, and you tell us your story of your route of education and how you got into asset management.
Yeah, so as Will said by Simon, I basically finished GCSEs, and then before beginning sixth form I launched a startup.
How many GCSEs did you get?
I did 11 GCSEs.
What, C's and above and all of them?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I got 1B and I cheated.
As long as you got the result.
Oh my God, sorry, I've just gone. So 11 GCSEs.
Yeah, 11 GCSEs. While doing my GCSEs, I was focusing on a startup around renewable energy. And so when I turned 16, I wanted to develop an app, which basically meant rather than having to download loads of apps, i.e. Shell BP, to find where your local energy electric point would be, it would all be within one app. So it would be like compare the market for finding an electric power socket before obviously everything came to market in the last 3-4 years. And what that involved was gaining sponsorships and partnering up with all these bigger companies. So I began that, and when I turned 17...
What was the app called?
So I never developed the app entirely, I was just bringing the idea. And then when I turned 17, I got funding by a VC in Turkey.
What's a VC?
So it's a venture capital.
Okay.
So they basically go around and fund startups or companies they see something they could gain from. So what they do is they buy shares into your company and lend you a loan, so like a director's loan. It's more money than you would get if you go around pitching. So I got approached by a VC to buy in, and when that happened, they were heavily focused on sort of taking the idea to market rather than letting me finalize it. So I think that was a major flaw in the business plan, and I think that taught me a lot about life because it taught me what I wanted to do.
So this is about the power of location, finding a power location.
Yeah, so
it's... That idea, when you say they took it to market, what do you mean?
So what I mean by taking it to market was they were in a hurry to rush the process because they wanted to get it out before other people get the idea out. But the idea was not final, and obviously me being 16, 17, I was I probably wasn't in the best position and have the most knowledge to actually take my idea to market. I was still building on it and obviously working on the fundamentals, but with this venture capital coming in and offering a lot of money to invest in it, they kind of wanted me to speed up with the idea, and I didn't feel like I was ready to speed up with the idea because it was a whole new world for me, because just doing maths and economics at A-level taught me nothing about renewable energy, or it taught me nothing about what's out there in the market. And obviously I had no experience in whether that be related to the finance element, IT element of launching a company. So that taught me a lot. In summary, it didn't work out, but then I got the A-levels to go to LSE.
Sorry, so when it didn't work out, what happened to all the money?
So what happens is it just counts as a loss. So
okay. So they don't come to say you owe us?
No, it's because they fund the company at their own risk.
Okay.
All they get is equity in the business when I launch. So yeah, then I went to LSE, joined, I was studying actuarial science.
What science?
Actuarial science.
What's that?
So actuaries basically calculate the risk of insurance, and they work a lot with pensions. So for example, whether that be car insurance, home insurance, they would work out, they do all the basically the stats behind it to work out, okay, this is higher risk, so this should be the premium, X, Y, Z. So they're the brains behind that. And the reason why I wanted to do that was highly money motivated, because I'd read The Economist, and their salary at the time was great, working hours were less, and also I had a passion in maths, so it linked in quite nicely. But 3 months down the line, I was approached by headhunters who offered me a couple of programs which I had a choice between, and I didn't make it through for some of the interview stages, but some of them I did, and then the one I chose was a very niche asset management firm, again which linked into my startup. So I focused mostly on energy resources and infrastructure, so I work with quite a few big players in that industry on acquisitions of new oil fields, methods of renewable energy, and it's more of a consultant role linked with acquisition, so it helps with the acquiring side of assets.
Okay. Are you happy in the job?
I think it has its good days and bad days, but overall, yeah, I'm quite content with my job currently.
What's your motivation?
I think for me, there's a couple of things. The first being, I think it's to give my parents and my family a comfortable way of living, so they don't have to worry about certain costs where my dad would have to worry and sort of work 18 hours a day so he could pay for like an hour tuition of mine. Now he doesn't. Now he's retired, so he can afford to live how he wants to live. He can go on holiday, so that's a big reason. Another reason being, I've always wanted to work in energy because, of course, for my startup it didn't work the first time, but I feel like there's always ideas I have within this industry, and it's very future-proof. So, in that sense, it's a motivator because every day I get up wanting to learn more, and there's a lot of different projects. It's very different day to day, so it doesn't get boring. I guess the downside to it is sometimes you get lost in the detail, and what that means is very long hours, which isn't ideal, but again, this is probably the best time to work the long hours so I can enjoy later on. But
what would be your advice to another young person who wants to get into asset management?
I think, to give it in a nutshell, asset management is a lot of referrals, so it's very hard to get into, which is a lot of the finance roles. So hence you see a very big white majority. But the best way I would say is to not narrow your route to asset management. Think a bit wider, whether that be wealth management, whether that be anything within financial services consulting, because a lot of companies who offer these services would always have a team which is involved with asset management, and the best way is to build your path into a company and then make that transition into asset management if that's still what you want, and that's by building your network, because it's not the easiest thing to go into straight away.
Okay. If you could do it all again, would you do anything different?
Definitely. I think the most important thing was I would have done a lot more work experience when I was younger, and I would have loved to probably taken on done more competitions in terms of debate, speaking, PowerPoints, because it really helps with your people skills, soft skills. I would have ideally wanted to, I wish I started earlier. In terms of year 7 to year 10, I was very behind. I wasn't really interested in, and I wouldn't say anything is limited to grades, because it's a lot about your business acumen, and end of the day, with asset management and a lot of finance roles, it's about selling things. That's not through your intellect, that's through the service you offer.
Well, we're coming to the end of the road now. It's been very, very interesting. Just to give people a taste, what's the average starting wage of asset management?
So I think for graduate salary, you're probably looking at about £70,000 to £80,000.
Okay, what's the highest wage you've ever heard someone getting in asset management?
So the senior partner has been paid $8.6 million a year, excluding bonuses.
What? Okay, so guys, you heard it from the horse's mouth. Now I know how you just put your dad a new car. Anyway, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.
Thank you very much.
All right, mate. That was good.